Welcome back, everyone, to another Eat Speak podcast, the most delicious podcast in the Metroplex. I'm Bud Kennedy.
And Steve Wilson.
Steve, thank you for coming along again. And today we have with us once again Chef Stephan Pyles from Dallas, who's telling us, usually we talk to Stephan Pyles about what's going on in Dallas, and today we're going to talk to him about dining all across Texas, including a new adventure he's on in Georgetown. Welcome, Chef Pyles.
Thank you, Bud and Steve. Glad to be here.
I guess we should say first that you are getting out and going to Georgetown and opening. And I said, Steve Wilson, did you have a question for Chef Pyles about this new venture in Sun City?
Yeah, it looks like a really nice retirement community there. Are you retiring there?
Well, you would think. This is my second senior community to be involved with. You never say never, but that's not the intent. I will never retire, I don't think.
Y'all sent me some nice pictures. I mean,
yeah.
Here's the outside,
the
kind of
hacienda?
looking at the.
This
looking
is
at
Hacienda in Georgetown. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's a terrific facility. Just now being built. Dust is flying, and it's going to be. What's really interesting about this place, I've had many consultations. I will be chief culinary advisor for Georgetown, for the Hacienda, and but what's different with this one as opposed to like other retirement communities I've worked with, this will have a public restaurant that folks from Georgetown or Austin or whoever can come to. So it's a little unusual in that sense. It's, as far as I know, the first ever. So
Yeah,
kind of breaking ground.
How is that going to work? Because, I mean, people know that these retirement centers have great restaurants. It's one of the appealing things to get people to come to the retirement centers, but very few are open to the public. And so people will come and hang out, and and then there will be some residents, but a lot of people from greater Georgetown there as well, sounds like.
That's right. There are 4 venues, and so 3 are dedicated to the residents, to the members, and then there's one that certainly they can go to. This will be the more, I guess, upscale, interesting. We have, kind of live fire rotisserie working, where we're hanging meat, and it's a really fun piece of equipment, and so that's sort of the activity ambiance of that room. So that's that one that's open to the public, and so we see that as an opportunity. I did a restaurant in San Antonio years ago with a group in a hotel, and I wanted to make sure that we did something specifically that was about the hill country in San Antonio. I didn't want them to think here's a blowhard Dallas chef coming to show his food in San Antonio. It really was making something unique to that property, and that's exactly what I want to do in Georgetown. Create a little restaurant there that the locals can enjoy as well as the residents, but make it specific to the hill country. So it's all about smokehouses and the Texas hill country wineries, and I want to engage the local farmers. So really make it something that couldn't happen anywhere else in Texas.
Now, that's just outside Austin, right?
Yeah, very close to Austin. Yeah, it's going to become one big megaplex someday, I think.
Well, I tell people said Georgetown, why does he want to be in Georgetown? I tell people, well, that's halfway to Austin. It's 2 hours from here to Georgetown, and then once you try to get from Georgetown and Austin, it'll take you another 2 hours. So you're about halfway.
That's exactly right.
This is the Hacienda at Sun City, and this is west of I-35 in Georgetown, I believe, and it opens next year. It's not open right now, so
it's not open.
Is that right?
It's under construction. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the fun planning stage. This is the fun part, and then you.
How far is it? Say, if you go to the Monument Cafe in Georgetown, is it about 5 miles west of the Monument, or 10 miles? Do you have any idea?
That sounds about right. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't spent much time in Georgetown. but that's about excuse me, that's about to change quickly.
Yeah, the monument is the monument is the old time place to eat the breakfast and lunch. And
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
open
no.
for dinner before COVID, and I hope they're back. The monument is the biscuits and breakfast and plate lunch.
Well, the
place.
thing about
That's
Georgetown,
what I was going to ask you. Go ahead.
the thing about Georgetown, there's not much far from anything. It's pretty small.
And the traffic is not bad yet in Georgetown. So
Right.
I was in Austin a couple of weeks ago, and I tried to go to Joanne's, Lou Lambert's, cafe on South Congress, which is what the Paris coffee shop will sort of be like in Fort Worth. I was in Northwest Austin, and in order to go from Northwest Austin to South Congress, it had me go all the way around Research to Ben White, to Bergstrom and Ben White, and then come back up South Congress in order to get to that part of Austin. So anyway, yeah, the Austin traffic's crazy, but Georgetown's not so crazy. So, what I wanted to ask you about. Go ahead, Steve.
Sure.
Oh, are you serving any pizzas there? Last time you were on, you were talking a lot about pizzas.
Fireside Pies, yeah.
About pizzas. Yeah, pizzas are still at the top of mind. We will do pizzas there. We sure will. Yeah.
What's going on with your Fireside Pies partnership?
Well, we're doing wine dinners. Here's the thing, and I know you know this, Bud, but we're at catastrophic levels for trying to find labor in this industry. So everybody's struggling with, we could be a lot busier at Fireside if we could just staff it a little better. So we're ready to roll, and Paula and I are doing wine dinners at each of the, a different, one of the different firesides each month. We did one over at the Abrams Center a couple of months ago. So it's fun. We're having a lot of fun. We're just trying to get it staffed. And I know this is not just with my consultants. It's everybody I talk to. I have chefs calling me every day saying, "Don't you have anybody? Do you have any line cooks? It's tough. It's just I think they all left and went to Amazon, and there's such great benefits there. They're not coming back to the industry now, and it's worse in the front.
There are a lot of good jobs at Amazon. There are a lot of good jobs at Amazon. There are a lot of good jobs in other businesses. There are even people chose to work in grocery stores instead of restaurants. And
That's
and
right.
this
That's
is what I tell people, this is what happens. It was what people predicted would happen when they started discouraging immigration under the last term, and the shutdown of immigration has strangled the restaurant industry and has just starved the restaurant industry for help.
Yeah.
So that has really had a dramatic effect. Well, I'll tell you, we were looking for a restaurant, and I found a restaurant outside Waco that I just want to mention. On the way to Austin, there is a new Italian restaurant in Southwest Waco called DiCampli, DiCampli. It was recommended by the Homestead Cafe folks, and it's in Woodway, and it's a chef from Italy who married a Waco girl, and that's where we went for Mother's Day. We took my mother-in-law has a daughter here and a daughter in Austin, so we met halfway outside Waco and had a nice Italian dinner. It's probably the nicest place I've been in Waco. So there's my little road food trip.
Well, there's nice.
Gosh,
that's good to know. I wrote that down.
Yeah, DiCampli. You've been around long enough when everybody talked about places like the Blue Bonnet in Marble Falls and the Coffee Cup in Hyco, and Texas is known for all these little roadside restaurants. Is there any little hole in the wall restaurant where you like to stop?
Well, I don't get on the road so much anymore. I think I'll probably be driving to Georgetown more than flying, but so that's about to change too. But typically, when I do take a road trip, take a little opportunity to plug No Kid Hungry here. When I do my No Kid Hungry auctions, where I take anywhere from 6 to 10 people down to Marfa, where we have a little fun weekend and dinner in friends' homes. I do a 7-course dinner and really nice wine. So, but on the way, we fly to Midland, and then we always stop at, if you're just this side of Midland, you could stop in Big Spring if you're driving. Big Spring, which is my old hometown, the Settles Hotel has a restaurant there called The Grill. And it's
gorgeous redone hotel.
Yeah, and it's a David Bull inspiration. Jeff Trigger and David Bull have a partnership, and probably 6 or 8 boutique hotels. They were both at the Driscoll. And so it's a fun place. It's good. But this place that we stop at in Monahans on the way to Marfa is one of my favorite barbecue places in the state called Pappy's. And so that's always top of mind. I will tell you this: when I do take a road trip, if we go to Big Spring, which we take a group usually on the 4th of July, because as I say, in Big Spring, only in Big Spring would they celebrate July 4th on July 3rd, Independence Day, because they do a big fireworks and in the amphitheater there that was built under Roosevelt. There's a symphony, the Big Spring Symphony. We're the smallest town in Texas to have a symphony, and it's incredible. My friends from New York that have gone with me are like blown away. They said, "Wow, this is a secret." Anyway, so anytime we go on a road trip like that, we always have to stop at the Dairy Queen to get a Blizzard. So that is like iconic. It's not a road trip without a Blizzard.
When did Texas turn from being a Dairy Queen state to a whataburger state? Or has it made that turn?
Question. I think it probably, the thing is, Whataburger they're actually even out of the state now. Didn't they just open their first restaurant somewhere out of the state? So they're on the move.
They're through the South.
Through the South. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're not family owned anymore.
No. I know they sold. It's interesting. Dallas Morning News did an article years ago, and it asked me all my favorite restaurants in town, and I named them. And they said, "You don't have a fast food burger you like?" I said, "Not really." And I thought, well, you know what? I do like Whataburger. I go to Whataburger occasionally. And so they put that in there, and I got a letter from the CEO thanking me for being in such good company and a pretty nice gift certificate.
So you got a free Whataburger? I think that's a good.
I lots of free Whataburgers.
Send them a link to this. Maybe you'll get another one, Stephen. That's great.
Oh, maybe.
I knew you were impressed at that. That's really good. Now you've never gotten into the upscale barbecue. You've never tried to really compete with all the barbecue pit masters, and yet you barbecue all the time. Is there not a place for you to do a barbecue restaurant?
Well, I'll never say never. I don't know. I mean, when I think about it, there's a lot of things I haven't done, a lot of concepts. I've got I still want to do one little concept, and I'm not sure what it is, but it'll be like a combination of maybe tacos and ceviches or something. It's really just simple, prototypical, and really, standardized, and one that can be rolled out. I don't know. That just sounds like kind of a dream because I've never done that. I worked with the Carlson Group, with TGI Fridays, and we did some concepts and duplicated those, but I've never done anything quite like this. So who knows? Maybe barbecue's in there somewhere too.
I'm not
done yet.
You should open that over here somewhere around Dickey's Arena. There is a steakhouse owner from Saltillo, Mexico, who has decided that his second location is going to be on West 7th near the Kimball and the Modern and Dickey's Arena in Fort Worth. So he's opening a Saltillo-style steakhouse from Mexico here. Maria's is opened last week. That's the Armenta family from San Angelo, and their combination of West Texas Tex-Mex and upscale contemporary. Maria's is in the old Hofbrau by the zoo and university. The Cafe Modern, the Wolfgang Puck Concepts is opening up their restaurant on May 18th, I think, in Cafe Modern. So we have a lot going on. You should bring a concept over here to the west side or the Dickey's Arena area, and come, or you could join the fun in the stockyards where all the stockyards opening are. Although I think Tim Love has rented just about every space there is over there.
Probably. It's a booming business.
What now? You were writing your memoirs. Tell me about that.
Well, it all happened. I start telling stories over the past. I've been at this 4 decades, 22 restaurants in 6 cities, but obviously I want to focus on Dallas, and I tell these really interesting stories, and people have said, you need to write a book on this. Forget the recipes. And so I just think it would be fun to do. So I'm sort of compartmentalizing chapters in my life and stories and, through recessions and storms and, disease now and all that. And so I'm putting it all together and, I want to really show what Dallas was like in particular in the 80s and 90s and how it's, kind of a working history of the progression of the restaurant business. Because I kind of been around for most of it, at least the modern part of it kind of helped start it back in the early 80s. So, 4 decades of what it was like being a restaurateur and the crazy sights I saw and the folks, the question I still ask is, why would you bring your mistress to your wife's favorite restaurant, knowing that there's a good chance she might be there and there will be a glass of champagne in your face? And yes, that all happened. So, it's I've got lots of stories like that. And I think, I was thinking of all the food critics that I have kind of survived, and it would be fun to kind of rate them. And that's not just local, the New York Times as well that came down and kind of did reviews on Dallas.
So when is that coming out?
It's hard to explain to people. Oh.
Yeah,
there's no published date. I'm just, I think in a year.
Mm-hmm.
I think probably, I would say, my guess would be the fall of 22.
It's hard to explain to people how much wealth there was and extravagance in the 80s in DFW, and how much, just the glitz and the glam and I mean, there were a lot. There's certainly a lot now with natural gas wealth and stock market wealth, but the extravagance in the 80s was incredible.
And I will live to tell about it, because quick little example, the Southland Corporation, 7-Eleven, they used to throw, and Neiman's, they would all throw these big parties, private parties at Ruth Street Cafe in the 80s. And I'll let you guess which one of them did this, but there would be like 20 people, and the cognac, Louis the 14th. That's like, this was back then. It was $70 or $80 a glass. It's in the Baccarat bottle, and so they would pass that around after dinner. Well, 20 people, and whoever got the last shot got to take the bottle home. So if they thought, well, that maybe wasn't the right person, we better do that again. So, that was $70 times 40, just for one little portion of the dinner. And they wanted caviar and everything. And it was extravagant.
And did they do something like, and then you have the events where they did something like bring a buffalo into the middle of the dining room.
That's right.
Something like
or one,
have all the events involving various.
Said, we're doing a clam bake. Is there any way we could do like a dump truck full of dirt somewhere in your restaurant? I said, really? No.
Yes, dig for clams.
Yeah.
There was an event once.
They wanted the ambiance. I said, let's just do flowers.
Bring the dump truck in. Yeah, I was at an SMU event once, and all of a sudden the doors open and they bring in Peruna, the mascot, comes running through. So it just, it was just amazing, the kind of things that went on. Well, Stephan, it's always great to talk to you. Mr. Wilson, do you have any other questions for Chef Pyles?
No, I think that's about it.
Well, thank you very much, Chef.
It's been a lot of fun.
It is a wonderful talking to you, because you know so much and you tell so much, and we're very grateful for both of those. And we'll really look forward to your book. Chef Pyles, thank you very much.
Thank you, bud. Appreciate it.
Until another Eat Speak podcast with I hope we'll have Chef Stephan Pyles on again sometime soon. And until next time, I'm Bud Kennedy.
And Steve Wilson.
Thank you.